Hello booktube! I have some cancelled plans today, so I have the energy and the time to make a video. I'm going to just do a really quick recent reads video, but before I do that I'm going to talk about last week. I've been trying to do a video every Friday and I didn't manage to get one done last week because I went to this exhibition and I filmed it all and I was vlogging it and I thought this would be a wonderful video to share with you all. The exhibition I went to was called Hyperreal. The pretense of it is sculpture that looks like real humans, which is all great, and I vlogged it and I just couldn't make the video because while I was there I had a sort of panic attack, anxiety thing happen where the artworks made me feel super uncomfortable. I was very upset that day. I think I controlled it, like I didn't have too much of a freak out, and I still managed to film everything, and I found that I could distance myself through the lens of my phone as I was filming. I was like, okay, it's fine. If I don't look at it, it's fine. That is such a strong reaction to have to an art thing that I was like, yes, this is actually kind of cool. It'll be interesting to explore this in my vlog when I edit it. And I had all these grand ideas, but then when I went to edit it all together, I just kept getting more and more uncomfortable and I was panicking myself by doing that. So I actually haven't worked on it and I missed last week because of that. It was still a really good exhibition and lots of people really enjoyed it and thought it was just wonderful and great, but I'm feeling a bit agitated just talking about this exhibition, which is such a strong emotional response to have to artwork, which is fascinating. But unfortunately I can't share it more than this because it just upsets me too much and I'm too much of a wuss. So anyway, that's why I've been absent for a week. Sorry. So the books that I've read in the last 2 weeks, however, I've read 2 books. The first one I'm going to talk about is a standalone novel called Small Town Storm, and it's a cop show book, which I really didn't... I mean, I knew it was because it says there's a murder on the back of the book, but I kind of went into it thinking it would be something else, I suppose. It was a crime novel and people go missing, and what really sucked me into it and made me keep reading though was the love story. So it's like an epic long time past childhood sweetheart sort of love story that happens in here, and I really enjoyed the character dynamics, and the love triangle that of course was put in there was a little bit like, oh, why is Elliot even in this book? But then he had to be in there as a suspect for the murders. But I also picked who the killer was about halfway through, or before even. That would be an interesting story. I bet it's them, and it was. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing, to say the least. But I did get all the way through it. I'm glad I read it. Thank you, Chrissy, for lending it to me. The writing style was pretty good, although I didn't like the sort of clichéness of it all at some points. There was 2 times where she let out a breath she didn't know she was holding, which is fine. It didn't affect the story negatively in any way, really. So there's that one. And the other book was a ebook, and it was Not Your Villain by C.B Lee. This is a sequel to Not Your Sidekick, also by C.B Lee. I really enjoyed this one. I liked the first one a lot, and I read it not that long ago as a recommendation by Matthew Sharappa last year, and it was really good. So thank you so much for that recommendation. I immediately picked up the sequel, which has taken me a really long time to read. It's all in first person. Is that right? First person? So like, Span is filming a video. She keeps accidentally looking at her face instead of at the lens. For some reason that just takes me a really long time to read, like it slows me right down. I really enjoyed this book and was really into the world and the exciting storyline, and all of my favourite characters were back, and it's so accepting and loving, and I really enjoyed it. It did take me like months. I've been reading it since last year. Like I feel like it's been a really long time. But I finally got to the end, which is really cool, and there's going to be another one coming out again, which I think is going to be from Emma's point of view, and I'm very excited about her as a character, and just exploring things from her perspective is going to be really nice. Superpowers are quite a common occurrence in here, and Emma doesn't have any. And also, she is possibly asexual, which is great. I love that representation. And our main character in this one, Bells, he's trans, but it's not a big deal, which is really exciting. And like pronouns, people introduce themselves and their pronouns, which I just thought was so accepting. I was like, this should be more. There should be more of this. This should be normal. But because I was still excited by it, I was like, oh yay, representation! So that was really good. Absolutely adored this. If you get a chance to pick up any of the C.B Lee books, do. Not Your Sidekick, amazing. Not Your Villain, just as good. I think the next one's going to be called Not Your Backup. Yay! Yeah, so just the 2 books this time. I'm not sure if I told you that I've finished Brent Weeks' The Blinding Knife, because I did, and it was great, and I picked up The Broken Eye, which is the next one in the series, which I'm also reading. But now that I've finished these 2, I've got room to pick up some more novels. I'm gonna keep reading. Surprise! I'm gonna read more books. Hope this has been an okay video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will hopefully be back next week with more bookish content. Sorry it's been so long. How do you turn this thing off?